Victoria and James, that was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song.
That was actually a song by Karen Drucker, and that was our rendition of it. We had a little bit of some different things that we were doing.
It was beautiful, just beautiful.
Yeah, and James's solo was amazing too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I have a question. I have a question for you. Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in the trees? Because they're really good at it. So, here's the thing. Sometimes the most powerful truths are just simply ones that are disguised. Like we know these truths when we are gathered together in community, when we're reading, when we're doing our spiritual practice. But they're hiding in plain sight, and sometimes we just have to reach out and figure out how to live from that place. To live from that power of a deep intent of spiritual connection to everything and to everyone. So this month, Reverend Joanne and I are going to look at that idea of transformation in action, how we can really be transformative agents in this world, how we can really walk our talk, so to speak, in an authentic way. Because we have these values, we have these spiritual values, we have that intent to live our lives from that highest level of being. And then something comes around, kind of shakes us, and we step back and our humanness kind of suits up, shows up in full glory, and it's not so pretty, right? So here's a foundation for this month. Each and every one of us, each and every person on this planet is a divine, unique expression of the One. Think about that. Every single being, whether we agree with them or not. And that's a really bold statement. I get that. And it's sometimes really hard to digest. But it's the truth. If it's true for me, it's true for you, and it's true for everyone, right? And we spent the last month in our discussion group trying to bridge that gap between knowing that truth during our spiritual work and knowing that truth as we live our daily life. And it's not very easy. It's really not. So we're going to take this month and we're going to look at how we become those transformational agents. And we're going to ask some really big questions like, who are we really? Like really? And what do you want? Not just for yourself, but what do you want for the human family? You know, this teaching, Centers for Spiritual Living, they have a mission statement, and that is a world that works for everyone. And what does that mean to you? Can you imagine that world where no one goes to bed hungry? Can you imagine a world where everyone is safe and sheltered and valued? Where we live in harmony with the planet. And we live in harmony and respect with each other. Can you imagine that? I'm going to say sometimes yes and sometimes no, right? Sure. But here's the thing. That's not just a dream. It's really not. We can plant those seeds of intention to transform the world. We can make those declarations of truth, and then we can sit with them and we can imagine them. We can spend more time around what we are for than what we are against. All it takes is a willingness to say yes. You see, intent, which we're going to explore today, intent is more than just I'm going to set an intention. No, it's a predisposition to be a certain way, to live a certain way, to think a certain way, right? Setting an intention is all about oneself and how one suits up and shows up in the world. Reverend Deborah Johnson of Inner Life Ministry has a wonderful way to look at this. I love this one, it's brilliant. So she shares this story about hosting a birthday party. You're hosting a birthday party for a 4-year-old. And there's going to be 14 4-year-olds in your house, right? 14. So before the party even begins, right, you already know someone's going to cry. There's going to be at least one little fight. Some stuff is going to get spilled, and more than likely something's going to get broken, right? So you've set this intent. This is, bound and determined, no matter what, this kind of stuff is going to happen. So before this party even begins, you become forgiving. Because why not? I'm going to enjoy the party even though I know the following disasters will occur. Now imagine if we brought that same level of forgiveness before the event to our family, to our friends, to our workplace. What happens then? What if we bring that same level of forgiveness in advance to everyone? And what if we stepped into a role of being a citizen of the planet with that level of forgiveness, with that level of intent to kind of know everybody's doing the best they can do, even though it's hard to imagine that is the best they could possibly do, right?
Sure.
I believe when we bring ourselves with our intent for good, or for compassion, for seeing the positive, when we do that, we become a beneficial presence in this world. And a beneficial presence, I don't know, we just imagine if we all became beneficial presences in this world. Let's take a breath and breathe that one in, because here's the thing. When we agree to set an intent to be in a beneficial presence, then we're also agreeing to bring ourselves and our happiness and our energy and our love and our forgiveness with us wherever we go. Wherever we go. The inspirational reading today, which, Marv, you did such an awesome job. You almost had the Holmes cadence going on, is from his very last sermon, Sermon by the Sea at Asilomar in California. And I love it. Find me one person who is for something against nothing, and I will find you another Savior, another Jesus, another master teacher. We all have the ability to be a master teacher. See, put it another way, what if the world isn't looking for somebody to do more good? But what if the world was looking for someone who is good, who radiates good, who radiates it from within? I mean, good is the natural nature. I believe those of us on a spiritual quest are looking for that internal joy, good, harmony, whatever you want to call it, that love, to just be a wellspring within us, and we just can't help it from flowing to everyone and everywhere. One person who has no fear of the universe, who has given everything to love, who no longer lives in arrogance, who talks with God, who sings from the soul. That isn't a fantasy. Haven't we all been there? Haven't we all had during a spiritual practice or during a special moment, had that feeling of, I'm on top of the world and all is well, all will be well, and yes, I do talk to God, and I am God in full display, and it is loving and joyous. Haven't we all had at least one of those experiences in our lives? We have. And if we've done it once, we can do it again and again and again. What if each of us is that one person in our family that is to always be taking the high road of compassion and love and forgiveness? What if we are the one person in our workplace who is the one who is always understanding and respectful and curious instead of judgmental? What if we were that first domino? I'm going to give you an example. Let me tell you a story of a woman, Annette Tuff. She was a school bookkeeper in Georgia. She is a school bookkeeper in Georgia. And in 2013, a gunman entered the elementary school where she worked, armed. He had an assault rifle and a whole lot of rounds of ammunition. He was ready to do harm. Antoinette was the first person he encountered. And she did not meet him with fear. She took a breath and became calm. She became fully present. In that moment, she says, it was just she and this person. And she spoke calmly to him. She told him about her own struggles, how she was raising a disabled child and was going through a divorce. And she told him, quote, we're all going through something, all of us. She connected with his humanity. She called him sir. She called him baby at one point. And slowly, she shifted the energy. She got him talking, not to her, but with her. They had a discussion. And at one point she said to him, it's going to be all right, sweetie. I just want you to know that I love you, okay? We all are going through something in life, and we will all work through it. Well, needless to say, he put down his gun. There was no violence that day. We didn't hear about it on the news, sorry as I am to say, but you can Google it. It's a true story. And when she was asked later how she stayed so calm, she said, I was praying. I was letting God speak through me. That is the power of being a beneficial presence. To go first to that place of respect and compassion and understanding. That place of, we're all in this together. And life is messy for every single one of us. When we become a beneficial presence, we just don't know the ripple effect we're going to have. We don't know when we're going to be called to move to that place of ultimate trust over fear. But every single one of us is not only capable of it, but have everything we need to do that. Michael Bernard Beckwith. An intention is the starting point of every dream. It is the creative power that fulfills all of our needs, whether it be money, relationship, spiritual awakening, or love. Ayanna Van Sant. The way to achieve your own success is to be willing to help someone else get theirs first. And Marianne Williamson. Every change we make toward a more loving presence creates a possibility for a miracle in the world. These aren't just motivational quotes, you guys. This is a roadmap. This is a roadmap that when we start to set an intention to be a beneficial presence, an intention to be a transformative agent for change. When we set that intention, it is the beginning of everything. So where do we start? I have a couple of ideas. I'm sure you do too. What if we started each morning before we checked our phones, before we turned on the radio, before we talked to anybody, What if the first thing in the morning we did was set an intention? Today, I intend to be a beneficial presence in life, especially in my life, right? Because it starts here. Words matter. The energy behind them matters. The feeling behind them matters. What if we really said that believing it is possible? What if we practice forgiveness in advance, like the 4-year-old party? What if in the morning we realized life is messy and I'm going to love this mess? People will disappoint you. Things are going to go sideways. We're going to get a lot of no's, right? Things aren't going to flow perfectly in our humanness. But still, we can choose to forgive from that highest level. Forgive ourselves first, right? And then forgive the situation and forgive others. To keep ourselves centered. It doesn't mean you don't have boundaries. You absolutely have boundaries. It doesn't mean you don't speak your truth, because you do. It's not like the world is all golden wonderful. But all of that is spoken from that place of love and joy, not from a place of fear or anger or judgment. Which takes us to that idea of to engage with compassionate curiosity. What if instead of judging someone, what if instead of judging ourselves, what if instead we said, okay, I'm kind of curious. Why do I feel this way? Why do I think this way? Why do I want to act this way? Why was I expecting something different? What if we just took a beat and became curious before we started judging and labeling and naming and blaming? What if instead we just said, okay, I'm going to try to understand this. I'm going to try to see this from your point of view. I'm not going to try to agree with you. I'm going to let my curiosity take me down this path of trying to understand. Several years ago, the Dalai Lama engaged leaders of the world religion. And he's done it many, many times since. And he has said the same thing, only in different ways. So I'm going to share with you this. His message was simple. I believe the key to a happier, more successful world is the growth of compassion. We need a genuine sense of responsibility and a sincere concern for the welfare of others. We need a genuine ethic that transcends religion, based on common experiences as human beings and on our shared aspirations to happiness and the avoidance of suffering. I love that idea. A universal code of kindness, of compassion, of mutual respect that overcomes religions and race and nationality and political party and anything else. What if we were all just human beings, mutually respecting and cooperating instead of being fearful and competitive? You know, the Celia Maitreya workshop, she had a question. Wouldn't it be nice if, guys, if you didn't attend it, you know, instead of judging someone or speaking negatively about something, wouldn't it be nice if? So it opens up that doorway of your consciousness to not resist, but to question, to allow that curiosity to come up with. So wouldn't it be nice if we could all feel safe? Wouldn't it be nice if everyone felt loved the way we feel loved? Wouldn't it be nice if I lived from my divine intent today to be that beneficial presence? You see, that's your assignment for this week, team, if you choose to accept it. Set that intention in the morning, before the phone, before anything, before starting the coffee pot. Set the intention. And then ask the questions and say yes. Wouldn't it be nice if everyone was safe in the world? Yes. Wouldn't it be nice if everyone was fed? There was no starvation, no homelessness. Yes, it would be nice. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if we respected each other without judgment? Yes, it would be nice. And then, this is the key. Take a beat and imagine a world like that. Just let your imagination play with it. That is how we become a beneficial presence to transform the world. And in the process, we are transforming ourselves. It starts with a person. Find me one person that is for something and against nothing. What if that person was us? Each and every one of us. What if each and every one of us spent time just imagining that world? Not a big process, a short process. If you can't do the world, do the country. If you can't do the country, do your family. I don't know. Just start somewhere. And allow yourselves in your mind's eye to transform it all. Together, we can be that first domino. We can support each other in doing that. We could breathe consciously and just know that our truth is that we are truly a divine expression of the One, and we are expressing from that place of love and joy and peace. Join me in the following affirmation. I live from my deepest intent to be a beneficial presence in the world. I choose to be the light. And so it is. Namaste.